She woke up in darkness that her body was cold. Her arms and legs could not move. Metal chains held her down. The ground was hard and smelled like oil and blood. She blinked slowly. Strange blue lights blinked above her. It was not Earth. She was not home. Her name was Alara. She tried to remember what happened. She had been walking home. It was raining. Then, a loud noise, a flash of light, and everything went black. Now she was here. She looked around. She was in a cage, a real cage. The bars were made of dark steel. Symbols glowed faintly on the floor. Around her, there were more cages. In them, other humans. Some were sitting still. Some were sleeping. Some looked dead. No one spoke. Suddenly, the floor shook. Heavy footsteps echoed. Alara looked up. The ceiling opened. Bright light flooded the room. She saw shadows, tall, thin, not human. Aliens. A group of them walked in. Their skin was green and scaly. Their eyes were black and cold. They wore long silver robes. One of them pointed at her and laughed. "New one," it said in a deep, broken voice. "Strong, pretty. She will amuse the buyers." Alara's heart pounded. She pulled at the chains, but they did not move. Her hands were bruised and bleeding. She opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came. The alien tapped something. On a screen, her cage opened. A machine rolled in and grabbed her with metal arms. She tried to fight, but it was too strong. It lifted her like a doll and dropped her on a glass table. More chains locked her arms and legs. She was trapped. One alien stepped forward. His face was cruel. His smile was wide. "You are not for sale," he said. "You are for fun." Alara stared at him. Her lips trembled. "Why are you doing this?" He laughed. "Because we can. Because your kind is weak. Because you scream." He pressed a button. The chains tightened. Pain shot through her arms. Her back arched. She screamed this time, a sound full of pain and fear. The aliens clapped and laughed. One threw coins in the air. This was a game to them. Alara closed her eyes. She felt like dying. But then, she heard a voice. It was soft. It was inside her mind. "Do not give up," the voice said. "I can help you, but you must survive." Alara opened her eyes in shock. She looked around. Who said that? No one was near her. The voice spoke again. Calm and clear, they think. "You are just a girl, but your blood is not normal. You are more." She didn't understand. Was she going crazy? Then something strange happened. The chains around her wrists began to glow faintly. Not from the alien machine, but from her skin. A soft silver light. The aliens noticed. One of them frowned. "What is that?" The leader stepped closer. "No. It cannot be. That mark." He reached out to touch her arm. But the moment his finger touched the glowing mark, a spark flew and burned him. He screamed and fell back. Alara looked at her wrist. There was a small symbol glowing on her skin. She had never seen it before. It looked like a star inside a circle. The chains pulsed. They didn't tighten this time, they loosened. She gasped. The pain was still there, but something had changed. From the shadows, a man watched. He stood in the corner of the room, wearing alien clothes. But his face, it was human. He didn't move. He didn't speak. But his eyes were fixed on her. Alara noticed him. "Help me," she whispered, but he did not answer. He just touched something on his wrist. A small light blinked. A signal. Then, he looked away. The alien leader was angry now. She must be silenced. Her kind is dangerous. He reached for another button. Alara's heart raced. The chains might not hold much longer, but she didn't have much time. The voice in her head returned. "Endure a little longer. The chains will break. Then you must run." Alara breathed slowly. Her body shook with pain. But deep inside, something had awakened. Something powerful. And it was waiting. The lights turned red. Ilara lay on the glass table, her body weak, her skin marked with burns. The chains still held her, but they felt different now. Not as tight, not as cold. Her wrist still glowed faintly. The strange symbol, the star inside the circle. It hadn't faded. Some part of her had changed, but the aliens didn't notice, or didn't care. They were too busy preparing for the show. Large metal doors opened with a loud hiss. A crowd of aliens entered the room. Tall ones, short ones, some with wings. Some with eyes that blinked in every direction. All of them rich, all of them cruel. This was a theater, a private event. And she was the entertainment dot above her. A hologram lit up. It showed her face, her name, her weight, her age. Like a product, a deep robotic voice spoke from the ceiling. Subject 47, human female, strong emotional output. Responsive to pain. Live demonstration begins now. The aliens cheered. Some waved metal coins. Others laughed in strange voices. One even raised a claw and shouted, "Begin with her eyes." Ilara's stomach turned. These weren't just aliens. They were monsters. Two machines rolled toward her. One carried tools, sharp ones. The other displayed images of other humans. Being tortured, a warning. A message, scream, and we pay more. She struggled, but the chains still held. Then came the first shock. Electric pain rushed through her body. Her back arched. She screamed. The aliens clapped. Coins dropped into machines. A screen showed rising numbers. Every scream had value. She closed her eyes, shaking. "Make it stop, please," she whispered, but no one listened. Then she heard the voice again, the same calm voice from her mind. "They feed on fear. Do not give it. Endure. Watch." Ilara opened her eyes through the tears and saw him again. The man, the human in alien clothes, standing at the back of the room, behind the crowd, watching. Quiet. Still. He didn't cheer. He didn't move, but his eyes never left hers. Ilara didn't understand. Why wouldn't he help? Was he one of them? Or was he waiting? More pain, more screaming, more bidding. One alien stood and shouted, "I offer 2,000 for a limb." Ilara's heart stopped. Were they going to? The machines rolled forward. But then everything flickered. For just a second, the lights blinked. The machines paused. A soft hum filled the room. No one noticed it, except her. And the man. He tapped something on his wrist again, very small. Very quiet. The chains around her wrists pulsed. Just for a second. The pain didn't come this time. Ilara looked at the glowing mark again. It was brighter now. She could feel heat from it. She could feel something else too. Strength. Not in her arms. Not in her muscles. In her mind. Suddenly. She understood. They weren't just hurting her body. They were trying to break her spirit, her memories, her identity. But something inside her refused. She was more than this. The machine raised a sharp tool above her eye. The aliens cheered again. The man looked at his wrist. The light blinked green. Now. He moved. He didn't shout. He didn't run. He simply stepped forward and spoke a single word in the alien language. "Stop." Everyone froze. All eyes turned to him. The alien leader frowned. "Who are you to interrupt the show?" The man smiled politely. "Inspector. Special sector." "She's marked. That makes her protected." "Lies, but smart ones." The aliens murmured. Some seemed unsure. The leader hissed, "You lie. She's just a human." The man walked closer, slowly, calmly. "She's not just human," he said. "She's claimed." He looked at Ilara and said, not with his lips, but with his mind, "Hold on, just a little longer. The chains are almost done." Ilara stared at him. Her heart still raced. Her body still hurt. But for the first time, she had hoped. The machines backed away, confused. The crowd grumbled. The leader growled, "If she's claimed, By who? The man paused. Then said softly, by the one you fear most. The room went silent, a long cold silence. Then the ceiling cracked. Sparks flew, and the chains broke. He watched them break her. And he said nothing. He stood behind the alien crowd in the shadows, dressed like one of them. His face calm, his eyes cold. But inside him, fire burned. The girl was strong, stronger than most, stronger than he had been when he was in her place. He had screamed too. That was 47 days ago. Now he was part of the system. An inspector, a fake title, a fake badge. All lies carefully crafted, slowly earned. He had learned their rules, their language, their patterns, not to join them, but to destroy them. And when she arrived bloody, screaming, glowing, he knew she was the key. 10 hours earlier, the man sat in a metal room filled with screens. A single file blinked on the display. Subject: 47, human female. Mark detected. He stared at the mark. A star inside a circle. He had seen it once before on a wall deep in the ruins of a dead human colony. It had been carved in stone with a single word below it: remember. He didn't know what it meant. No one did, but now that mark was alive. On her skin, glowing, he whispered to himself, she's not just another prisoner. She was something else. Maybe something they buried, or something they feared. So he waited. And watched. Back to the auction. The crowd was turning wild now. The girl had broken the chains, not with strength, but with will. The leader shouted, calling for backup. The man didn't flinch. He stepped forward again, and the crowd stepped back. Stand down, he said in the alien tongue. She belongs to the archive. Interference is a crime. He activated a false ID chip on his wrist. A flashing symbol appeared, a crest of an alien authority group. Most of them backed off, but the leader didn't. His voice rose like a beast. The archive is dead. Humanity is dust. She is nothing. The man didn't answer. He looked at Elar. She was on the floor now, free, but barely standing. Her body shook. Her breath was fast. Her skin still glowed faintly. You okay? He asked softly, this time with his voice. Elara nodded slowly. Who are you? The man didn't answer, not yet. Instead, he turned back to the aliens. End the show, now. The crowd hissed and protested, but no one moved forward. The girl had changed something. She had broken the rules, and the rules were the only thing keeping them safe from what came next. Later, they sat in a dark hallway, hidden behind steel panels. The alarms had stopped. For now, Elara winced, holding her side. The man handed her water. She drank, then looked at him again. You didn't help me before, she said. Why now? The man looked away. I couldn't risk it. They would have killed us both. I had to wait until your mark appeared. She touched the glowing symbol on her wrist. It was fading now, but still warm. What is this? She asked. He spoke slowly. That mark ... is from before the fall of Earth. It's older than our last war, older than the AI collapse. It was used by a human order, guardians maybe. Protectors of something ancient. How do you know that? He looked her in the eyes for the first time. Because I used to wear it too. Elara froze. What happened to yours? They burned it off. Silence. Then he said, they took me from a colony. I was just like you. I screamed. I begged. I almost forgot who I was. Then I stopped screaming. I started watching. And now? She asked. He smiled, but there was no joy in it. Now I fight quietly, carefully. Elara nodded. Her voice was soft. Then help me fight. He stared at her. And for the first time since he'd been captured, he felt something real. Not anger, not fear. Hope. Far above them, in the alien command tower. Message was being sent, encrypted, silent. Subject 47 has awakened. Mark confirmed. Human revival possible. Request permission to terminate both. No answer came, only silence. Then somewhere far across the galaxy, a dark figure opened its eyes. Ilara dreamed of stars, that not the ones in the sky, but inside her. She stood in darkness, floating. A voice called her name. Ilara. It wasn't his voice. It wasn't the one from the auction. It was older. Familiar but ancient. You carry the last key. She turned. A star burned in the distance. Its light touched her skin. The mark on her wrist glowed again. Brighter now, alive. Then suddenly she woke. Her body jerked forward. The man, still beside her, reached out. It's okay, you're safe. She looked around. Cold walls. A hiding place in the underdeck of the merchant ship. Machines hummed above. Distant footsteps echoed. They hadn't been found yet. She held her wrist. Symbol hadn't faded. It was brighter than ever. What's happening to me? She asked. The man didn't answer right away. He studied her, calm, focused. Then he said, "You're not just human anymore. Maybe you never were." Ilara frowned. "What do you mean?" He opened a small case beside him. Inside was a metal device, old, cracked, human-made. A recorder. Played it. A voice spoke. Female. Tired. Strong. "If this is found, then the bloodline survived. The mark lives. And if it lives, so does hope." The message ended. Ilara stared at the device. "Who was that?" "My mother," the man said. "She was part of the last science crew before Earth fell." "You're from Earth?" she whispered. He nodded. "I was a child when the Exodus happened. They said Earth died. But my mother didn't believe it. She believed it was hidden, for protection. And that one day, someone would come who could unlock it." He looked at her wrist. "You," Ilara shook her head. "No, I'm just a girl. I lived in a small city. I studied music. I don't have powers. I don't even know what this mark means." The man leaned closer. "That's what makes it powerful. It means you're not made for war, but you can become more. The alien's fear. That. A human who doesn't break." Ilara looked down. The memories of the auction came back, the pain, the laughter. The chains. And the moment they shattered. "I didn't mean to break the chains," she said. "It just happened." The man smiled slightly. "That's how it begins." Elsewhere on the ship, the alien leader stood before a screen. On it, Ilara's mark glowed. A red warning flashed. Forbidden's bloodline detected. Another alien spoke behind him. "We should kill her." "No," the leader growled. "If her blood is real, others will come. We don't kill her." "Then what?" The leader smiled. "We sell her, back in the underdeck." The man explained everything he knew. The mark of the star was once used by a group called the Keepers. Not soldiers, not rulers. Carriers of memory, secrets of humanity lost in time. When the Great Wars came, aliens tried to erase the Keepers, but one survived. The mark passed down, hidden in DNA, sleeping, until now. Ilara stared at the ceiling. "Why me?" "Because they thought you'd be weak," he said. "And they were wrong." Suddenly, lights above flickered. A loud alarm echoed through the ship. "Unit breach. Escape attempt detected. Subject 47 marked as prime property. Secure all decks." They found her. The man stood calm. He handed Ilara a small blade. "We'll have to fight our way out." She stared at the weapon. Her hand shook. "I've never fought before." He looked her in the eyes. "You've already survived worse." She nodded, took a breath, stood. Then the door burst open. 3 alien guards rushed in, weapons aimed. Before Ilara could move, the mark on her wrist flashed blinding white. A wave of energy exploded from her skin. The walls bent. The guards were thrown backwards, screaming. Their weapons shattered mid-air. She stood there, breathing hard, eyes wide. The man stared in silence. "Yeah," he whispered. "You're definitely not just human." Far away, in the dark corners of space, a ship received a signal, a code. Not used in over 300 years. It was a symbol, a star. Inside a circle, the figure watching the screen leaned forward. "She's awakened." The chains had broken, but freedom was never quiet. It came with alarms. With fire, with fear, Elara stood. In the hallway, glowing with power she didn't understand. Her hands shook. The metal blade in her grip felt useless now. She didn't need it. The guards lay unconscious behind her. The walls were cracked. The lights above flickered. The man stepped beside her, breathing fast. "What you just did. That wasn't tech. That was something older." Elara didn't speak. She couldn't. Her heart was loud in her ears. Her body still remembered pain. Her mind tried to catch up with the power inside her. "They'll come fast," the man said. "We don't have long." He tapped his wrist and sent a silent signal, a code only one group would recognize. The hidden ones. Other humans. Broken. Scattered across ships like this one. Waiting. Hiding. Suffering. But also watching. And now waking. In the lower slave decks. A boy looked up. His cage buzzed. He checked under the floorboard. A blinking light, the signal. He smiled for the first time in years. It's time. In the kitchen zones, a human woman stopped stirring the alien stew. She turned, walked to a broken wall panel, and opened it. Inside, a stolen weapon, a small blade. Rusted, but real. She kissed it once, and began to walk on the roof of the ship. 3 alien guards smoked and laughed. One joked about the little girl who glowed. They didn't see the human crawling behind the pipe, silent, calm, a wire in his hand. He dropped silently behind them. Seconds later, only silence remained. Back in the hallway, Elara moved with the man beside her. They climbed stairs, ran through tight corridors, hid when they needed to. She asked questions between breaths. "How many humans are on this ship?" "Over 300, he replied. "Will they help?" "They will now." She stopped. "Because of me," he turned. "No." She blinked. "Because of what you remind them of," he said. Hope. They reached a cargo room. Inside, broken machines, boxes, old gear. The man searched fast. Found 2 shock rifles. Handed one to her. She held it like it was glass. "I don't know how to use this." He smiled. "You already used something stronger." The ship shook. An explosion. Is spun. "What was that?" The man tapped his wrist. A small screen showed lights flashing all across the ship, cells opening, alarms in every zone. The humans weren't waiting anymore. The chain of silence was broken. And now, rebellion had begun. In the main control room, the alien captain screamed, "They're rising!" "How?" Another officer shouted. "They're armed! How did they get weapons?" "They didn't," the captain growled. "They got courage." He slammed his fist into the console. "Seal every gate, release the hounds, kill the girl." Meanwhile, Elara and the man moved through smoke-filled hallways. They passed dead guards, damaged machines, humans leading others through emergency doors. It was chaos, but not fear. It was movement. Elara's heart beat stronger. Not from running, from realizing something. She wasn't a prisoner anymore. She was part of something larger. The man stopped in front of a large door. Behind it, the auction hall, where it all started. "We end it where it began," he said. He looked at her. "You ready?" She nodded. "I was born for this." They burst through the door. Aliens turned in shock. Some reached for weapons. Too slow. Ela raised her hand. The mark on her wrist lit up like a sun. A wave of force exploded from her fingers. The aliens flew back like paper in the wind. The room shook. Lights burst. Chairs flew. She stepped forward, glowing, unchained. The leader stood across the room, shaking. She shouldn't exist. Alara looked at him calm. I do. He aimed his gun, but before he could fire, a blade flew from behind and struck his hand. The human cook from earlier walked in, eyes burning. You forgot we were watching. Then the boy from the cages. Then the old engineer. Then the silent ones from every dark corner. They all entered. One by one. Armed, angry, awake. The leader dropped to his knees. Alara walked up to him. You broke us for your fun, she said. Now we're breaking your game, far above the ship. A signal was sent, from ship to ship, colony to colony. The message was short. Chains are breaking. The girl with the mark is real. Rebellion has begun. Space was silent, but the silence wasn't peace. It was a warning. Alara stood at the window of the stolen ship. Behind her, the ruins of the merchant cruiser they had escaped. Ahead of her, stars. And somewhere among them, the last secret of Earth. The others moved quietly through the ship, humans once broken, now awake. Some fixed controls, some rested. Some simply stared at the stars, trying to remember how it felt to be free. Alara didn't speak. She watched space like it was. Watching her back. The man stepped beside her. We're close. She nodded. What exactly are we looking for? He showed her a map. Ancient. Part digital, part carved into old metal. At its center was a symbol, the mark she carried. Below it, a set of coordinates and a name. Planet Echo 6. Status. Ghost signal. Alara read the words. What's a ghost signal? The man's voice lowered. A signal sent long ago. Still repeating, but no one answers. Some say it's a trap. Some say it's a grave. She looked at him. And you? He smiled faintly. I say it's a beginning. 2 hours later. They dropped out of warp near a dying sun, a dead system. No planets here glowed with life. Just dust, ice, silence. But then the signal appeared, a pulse. Slow, steady, one light. One sound, repeating. The pilot whispered, it's music. Alara leaned closer. Her heart skipped. It was a melody, faint, familiar. A song she played once as a child. She touched the screen. It's human, the man nodded. It's Earth. They followed the signal. It led them to a hidden orbit where a planet drifted. Behind a thick veil of debris. Elara gasped. It wasn't just a planet. It was shattered, cracked into massive floating pieces. Like someone had tried to erase it, but stopped halfway. One side glowed with green light, still alive. The other side burned, frozen in silent fire. The ship's scanners read, Echo 6, failed refuge. Unknown technology detected. Warning, do not approach. They approached anyway. Landing Site 3, Echo 6, dust filled the sky. Broken machines lay in the ground. Towers that once reached the sky were now bent like dead trees. Alara stepped onto the surface. The moment her boots touched the dirt, the mark on her wrist pulsed. A door opened in the ruins. No one touched it. No one saw how. The man looked at her. It's reacting to you. They entered. Inside, the walls were covered with carvings, human writing, alien symbols, and something older. Glowing softly. In the center, a massive device. A sphere of glass floating above the ground. Inside it, light, movement, data. It spoke. A voice, old and human. If you hear this, then the bloodline lived. Alara stepped forward. The mark on her wrist lit up. This is not Earth, but it remembers Earth, and it holds her last memory. The glass cracked. A beam of light touched Alara's skin, her mind filled with images. Cities burning, skies falling, machines turning on their creators. And then silence. A choice was made. Earth wasn't destroyed. It was hidden behind a code. A cloak, a wall of false stars, Only one bloodline could unlock it. Only one signal could call it back. Alara fell to her knees. Gasping, the man grabbed her. "What did you see?" she whispered. "Earth is still there. But it's waiting." "Waiting for what?" She looked up. "For me." Above the planet, a new ship appeared. Black, silent, massive. It didn't send a signal. It simply opened. Its eyes, inside, a figure watched the surface of Echo-6. A smile crossed its face. "She found the gate," it said. Then the game changes. Back on the surface, the humans gathered. Alara stood in the center. She spoke clearly now. "There are more like me. I can feel it. And if Earth is waiting, we have to reach it." The man nodded. "We'll need a real ship, weapons, a plan. And soldiers," someone said. Alara looked around. Broken people once called slaves, now holding tools, weapons, fire. She smiled. "We're already soldiers. They just don't know it yet. In space, far beyond." A new message rippled through the stars. Not a scream, not a warning, a call. "To any who still remember Earth, she remembers you. Follow the signal. Find the girl. The chains are broken. It's time to go home." There was a time when Alara was just a girl. Now she was a signal, a story. A spark. The rebel ship moved fast through deep space, dodging satellites, mines, and old warnings that no longer mattered. The stars ahead shimmered strangely. That was the wall, the one hiding Earth, the final veil. Behind it, truth. Behind it, home. Alara stood on the deck in silence. Her hands trembled not from fear, but from memory. She remembered pain. She remembered metal floors and laughter from alien mouths. She remembered the chains. Now she wore none, only a glowing mark, and a voice inside her whispering, "The chains were never meant to hold your body. They were meant to make you forget who you are." She hadn't forgotten. Not anymore. The others gathered behind her. The man, her quiet shadow, watched her with calm eyes. He had guided her. Now he followed her. Humans stood with weapons stolen from monsters who once ruled them. But it wasn't weapons that made them strong. It was choice. To stand, to rise, to remember. The ship neared the wall of light. Scanners failed. Maps broke. All signals jammed. But Alara stepped forward. She raised her hand, and the mark on her wrist pulsed once, twice, then steady. A beam of silver light reached from her skin into the stars. The wall opened. Not with violence. But with welcome. Beyond the veil was Earth. Not dead, not destroyed. Just waiting. Blue oceans, green lands, cities untouched by time. Orbiting it, a silent ring of satellites, a defense shield, and in the center, floating in space, a station shaped like a star. The archive, a memory of what humans were, reminder of what they could still become. They docked in silence. Inside the archive, there was no one living, but the walls whispered. Voices from long ago, hopes, warnings, songs. The moment Alara stepped inside, the lights lit on their own. The system spoke. Bloodline confirmed. Starbearer has returned. A room opened. Inside, 7 chairs, empty, a round table, glowing, and a mirror. Alara stepped in front of the mirror. She saw herself, and not herself, a woman, wearing armor of light. Her face older, stronger, her eyes the same. The voice returned. "You are the last of the 7. The others fell. But you remained hidden in blood, in story, in silence." Ilara's voice shook. "What do I do now?" The answer came not as a voice but a vision. She saw Earth burning. She saw it healing. She saw other worlds, still chained, and she saw herself standing in front of them. Not as a prisoner, but as a message. Back on the ship, alarms blared. An alien fleet approached. The same one that enslaved them. The same one that feared her. Now they came to silence her. Too. Stop the spark. The man turned to the others. Do we run? Elara walked onto the bridge. No. They stared at her. She raised her voice, not loud but full. We were slaves. They thought pain would erase us. It didn't. She stepped to the window. Earth glowed behind her. They built walls. We walked through them. They gave us numbers. We took back names. They gave us chains. She opened her hand. The mark. Burned like a sun. We broke them. The ship's weapons lit. Other rebel ships appeared. Human signals, once silent, now active again. From old mines, from moons, from ruins, from fear. All answering her call. Fleet of the forgotten, ready to be known. The alien commander sent a final message. Surrender the girl, or burn. Elara sent her own. One word. No. The battle began, but this time the story was different, because the galaxy had seen humans fall before, but it had never seen them rise like this. They weren't just fighting for survival. They were fighting to remember, to return, to take back everything that had been stolen. Not just a planet, but a purpose. And as the stars burned around her, Elara whispered one final thing to herself. I was made to suffer, but I chose to fight. Somewhere, in a distant system, a child will hear the story of the girl with the mark. They will ask, is it true? And someone will answer, it wasn't just true. It was human.